breaking news overnight.
New details surrounding a crime scene in the middle of a Daytona Beach neighborhood. Overnight, police confirmed a woman was shot and killed. Her husband badly hurt after a murder and attempted suicide. It happened after 6:30 last night at a home along Fulton Street. That's not far from North Street and George W. Ingram Boulevard. News 6.
Shocked. Most definitely. Never thought this would ever happen. Actually, they were just over Marion County. You know, we had a family reunion. Yeah. He and his wife, and I'm not sure. We still don't know. Yeah. Waiting to find out. A loving couple. Oh, yes.
She called her own parents to come save her. That's not something you do unless you already know how this ends. Shawntai Adkins wasn't confused about what her husband was capable of. She'd made her decision. She was leaving him that night. What she didn't know was that she'd be dead before she made it off the porch. Her father would break his own leg, jumping a fence to get away. Her mother would watch the whole thing happen. And the man who pulled the trigger? He'd turn the gun on himself 2 seconds later and survive. This is the story of a woman who did everything right. She saw the red flags. She made the call. She had a plan to get out. It still wasn't enough. Before we get too deep, welcome to Homicide Crime Files. Kindly subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell icon for more posts. Shawntai Adkins was 34 years old, a registered nurse, a mother of 4. If you knew her, that's probably the first thing you'd tell someone. She took care of people for a living. Friends describe her as warm, the kind of person who checks in on you even when her own life is in chaos. And by October of 2023, her life was chaotic. She was married to Shawntai Adkins. On paper, they looked like any other couple in Daytona Beach, Florida. Neighbors later told reporters they seemed like a great couple, that nothing about them raised alarms. That's the thing about domestic violence, though. It rarely looks like anything from the outside until it's too late. Behind closed doors, Shawntai had a drinking problem. Not a had one too many at a party problem. A problem serious enough that just weeks before October, he'd been placed into an alcohol treatment facility under Florida's Marchman Act, a law used when someone's substance abuse has become dangerous enough that intervention is legally forced. He got out of treatment. And almost immediately, things got worse, not better. If you're watching this, and something about that pattern feels familiar, sit with that for a second. Relapse after treatment isn't rare, but relapse combined with rage is a different animal entirely. Keep that in mind, it matters later. October 19th, 2023, started like an ordinary Thursday. It did not stay that way. That morning, Shawntai found out Shawntai had taken her motorcycle without asking. He was intoxicated. He'd been out of rehab for days. She confronted him about it. Then it got worse. While looking through his Apple Watch, Shawntai found text messages. Messages that told her everything she needed to know. Her husband was having an affair. 2 betrayals in one morning. The motorcycle was almost incidental at that point. She told her mother she was done. She was filing for divorce. Here's the part that should stop you cold. Shawntai didn't hide this. She didn't quietly plan an exit behind his back. She told people. She had a support system. She had a mother she trusted enough to call. She was doing exactly what we tell people in dangerous relationships to do. Build a network. Don't go silent. Don't try to handle it alone. She did all of it right. If you've ever wondered whether just leaving is actually that simple, remember this story. Because leaving isn't a single clean moment. It's a process, and sometimes that process gets cut short by someone who was never going to let her go quietly. Before we go further, I need you to do something for me. Hit subscribe right now. Not because I need the number, but because stories like this one, the quiet warning signs, the moment someone finally decides to leave, they repeat themselves constantly, and most people don't recognize them until it's someone they love. If this channel helps even one person clock the pattern before it's too late, that's the whole point. Don't scroll past this one. By evening, the argument hadn't cooled off. It had escalated. Shawntai made the call that would define the rest of this story. She asked her parents to come to the house. Think about that decision for a second. She didn't call the police first. She called her mom and dad. Maybe she thought family could talk him down. Maybe she thought his rage was reserved for her, and having her parents there would make him back off. She was wrong. Her parents arrived at the home on Fulton Street. They asked Chantel about the motorcycle, the same question that had started the whole day, and something in him snapped. He went inside. He came back out with a rifle. At around 6:37 p.m., Daytona Beach police got the call. Shots fired at 530 Fulton Street. By the time officers got there, Shawntai was already gone. Here's what happened in those final moments. According to investigators and later, courtroom testimony, as Shawntai tried to leave the house with her parents, walking away, trying to get to safety, Chantel raised the rifle and shot her in the back of the neck. Not a struggle. Not a moment of passion where a gun went off by accident. A shot to the back of someone's neck as they were walking away is not an accident. It's an execution. She died almost instantly, right there on her own porch, in front of her parents. Her father tried to run. He jumped a nearby fence to escape and broke his leg in the fall, a grown man so desperate to survive that he didn't feel the injury until later. Her mother watched all of it happen. And Chantel? He turned the rifle on himself, shot himself in the shoulder, but he survived. Police arrived to find a woman dead on the porch, and the man who killed her, wounded but alive, in the front yard. If this story has you feeling sick to your stomach right now, good, you should. Somebody's entire life, her kids, her career, her future, ended over a motorcycle and a text message thread. If that doesn't make you want to check on the people in your life who've gone quiet lately, I don't know what will. The next day, Shawntai Adkins was formally charged. First-degree murder with a firearm, 2 counts of aggravated assault for the parents he'd threatened and endangered. Investigators didn't have much of a mystery to solve here. There were eyewitnesses. There was a clear motive: infidelity, alcohol, a marriage falling apart in real time. There was a 911 call. There was the rifle itself, recovered at the scene. Sometimes the hardest part of a case isn't figuring out who did it. It's proving intent. Was this rage in the heat of the moment? Or was this something closer to a decision? Prosecutors were about to make that argument in front of a jury, and they were going to make it fast. Almost 2 years passed before the case went to trial in June 2025, in front of Judge Kathleen McNeely. The defense tried to keep certain evidence out of the courtroom. They didn't want the jury hearing about the drinking. They didn't want the jury hearing about the affair, because both of those things build a motive, and motive is exactly what turns murder into premeditated murder. The judge allowed it in. Shawntai's parents took the stand. They described the argument. They described the moment Chantel walked back outside with a rifle in his hands. Her mother's deposition detailed everything: the Apple Watch discovery, Shawntai's decision to divorce him, the fear in her daughter's voice on that final phone call. Shawntai Adkins did not testify in his own defense. The jury deliberated for 17 minutes. 17 minutes to decide that a man who shot his wife in the back of the neck, in front of her parents, after she'd already told everyone she was leaving him, was guilty. Guilty of first-degree murder. Guilty on both counts of aggravated assault. On June 23, 2025, Shawntai Adkins stood in front of Judge McNeely for sentencing. State Attorney R.J. Larissa had already said what needed to be said in court. This was every parent's worst nightmare. He described what happened as an execution, carried out in front of the very people Shawntai had called for protection. The sentence came down: life in prison, mandatory, for the murder conviction, plus additional time for the assault charges. Reports indicate the total adds up to life plus 10 years. There is no parole. Shawntai Adkins will die in a Florida state prison. Now,
Big Meech, Larry Hoover. Niggas.
Hold them all.
I'll have it.
I got you
got it? Who got it?
Get me some water.
Hey.
I'm giving it up. Happy birthday, dear Shawntai. Happy birthday to you.
All we know right now is that there is an investigation, but Daytona Beach police have been very tight-lipped. The scene has been winding down as we've been here for at least 3 hours now. I want you to take a look behind me. This is all we can see at this point. The crime scene has been blocking this road. But just a couple minutes ago, I did see officers bring a stretcher out of one of the houses, and I did see the coroner's vehicle just leave here. So that is the latest development here at this scene. But we've seen earlier this evening, we've seen officers collecting evidence and talking to witnesses, just trying to figure out what happened here. Just from listening to some of the neighbors talking here, they wouldn't come on camera, but they were talking about guns. But at this point, there is just very limited information about what happened here. We have pressed Daytona Beach police for the past 3 hours to figure out what happened, and they have not gotten back to us, but we'll continue reaching out to them, and as soon as we have updates about what happened here, we'll be sure to let you know on clickorlando.com.
Details tonight about what led to a woman's murder in Daytona Beach.
Investigators tell us that the woman and her husband got into a very heated argument. West News' Pamela Combe joins us live from Daytona Beach right now. And Pamela, it appears that the wife actually tried to warn her family in the moments leading up to her death.
Yeah, she did. Police tell us that when the woman and her husband were arguing, she called her parents asking for help. We imagine to help defuse the situation, but by the time they got here, it was already too late.
Neighbors tell me when the shots first rang out, there were a lot of people in their front yard trying to figure out what was going on. And now, even though they know what happened, there's still a lot of confusion in this neighborhood.
To know that this happened, this is heartbreaking.
Samisha Johnson is one of many who can't understand how an argument cost a woman she knew her life.
I'm praying for both families, and it's just real sad.
Police flooded this area around 7 o'clock on Thursday after multiple 911 calls.
He shot himself. He just shot himself with his own gun.
Okay, what is the address?
That sounded like a gunshot. So what I did is kind of like walk up to the fence and look down the street to see.
Theodore Carter says he's familiar with the home he saw officers surrounding. Daytona Beach police say it belongs to the suspect, Shawntai Adkins, and the victim, his wife, Shawntai.
They seem like great people, like great couple, like maybe next door to your house. You know what I'm saying? You would never think that something like that would ever happen. Like,
Shocked. Most definitely. Never thought this would ever happen. Actually, they were just over Marion County. You know, we had a family reunion. Yeah. He and his wife, and I'm not sure. We still don't know. Yeah. Waiting to find out. A loving couple. Oh, yes. Loving couple.
Help is available if you or anyone you know is a victim of domestic violence. You can call the phone number there on your screen or simply text the word START to 88788.
Now look, I know not everyone watching this is going to hit subscribe, and honestly, that's fine. But if you're one of those people who watched this whole story, felt something, and still won't do it, I'd genuinely love to know why in the comments. Not being sarcastic. I actually want to understand what's stopping you, because these stories deserve to reach more people, and I don't get why anyone would sit this one out. Shawntai Adkins left behind 4 children who will grow up without their mother. She left behind parents who watched her die and now carry that image for the rest of their lives. Her father still deals with the injury from that fence. Her mother still has to live with what she saw. Neighbors keep saying the same thing. They never saw it coming. They seemed happy. They seemed fine. That's the part of this story that should stay with you longer than the shooting itself. Abuse doesn't always look like bruises. Sometimes it looks like a couple everyone assumes is doing okay, right up until it isn't. Shawntai did the version of getting out that we tell people to do. She told her family. She made a plan. She called for backup, and it still wasn't enough to save her, because by the time she made that decision, the most dangerous moment in an abusive relationship isn't the years of silence, it's the moment you finally try to leave. If there's one thing this story should teach you, it's that leaving needs to come with real protection, not just good intentions. If you or someone you know is in a relationship that feels like it's escalating, please don't wait for the moment that feels bad enough. By then, it might already be too late. To Shawntai's children, her parents, and everyone who loved her, we're so sorry for what was taken from you. No sentence, no matter how long, gives you back what you lost. Our condolences go out to your entire family. Thank you for watching until the end. I'll see you in our next true crime story.